So the Skullcandy Hesh ANC are a decent pair of entry-level ANC headphones that block out an impressive amount of noise. And then there are the Skullcandy Crusher EVOs, which are a fun pair of headphones because they have a lot of bass. But now we have the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2s, and these have both a lot of bass and active noise cancellation. But are they worth the upgrade? Let's find out. Regarding pricing, the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2s have a retail price of $230, whereas the Crusher EVOs have a retail price of $200, and then there are the Hesh ANC, which have a retail price of $135, but they like to go on sale for $100 from time to time. Now, I think both Crushers are both good options as secondary headphones, whereas the Hesh ANC are decent daily drivers. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these headphones up, there will be a link down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a Big Head approved hat, link down below. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. By buying a hat, you help the unbiased and unsponsored videos coming, and it also helps us cover more products and produce more versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's already bought a hat, and look out for more designs coming soon. And also, please remember to hit that like button, and let's get subscribed. Now first, let's talk about the included carrying cases. Now both the Hesh ANC and Crusher EVO come included with a carrying pouch. Now the carrying pouch that comes included with the Crusher EVO is nicer, and there's a fur lining inside. But if you plan on traveling with either of these two headphones, you still run the risk of crushing these headphones if they're in a cramped backpack. But then there are the Crusher ANC 2s, and these come included with a decently sized hardshell case. Overall, I don't have any complaints about this case, but with these other two headphones, you will want to invest in a hardshell case if you plan on commuting with them. But with the cases out of the way, let's talk about the headphones themselves. Regarding fit, Skullcandy's headphones aren't the best fitting headphones out there for multiple reasons. Now first off, all of these headphones are Big Hit approved, but they do have a firmer fit to them. But more importantly, the Hesh ANC are better suited for people with smaller heads or just children, because I actually have to extend the headband on these headphones all the way out. Whereas with the Crushers, both of these will be able to accommodate adults. But then there's the padding on these headphones. Now the headband on the Hesh ANC has soft padding to it, so hotspots aren't an issue for these headphones. But for the Crushers, that's another story. Now the padding on the Crusher ANC 2s is relatively soft, and they'll create a hotspot on the top of your head after like the 1 hour mark. Whereas with the Crusher EVO, this padding is a lot stiffer, so I have noticed that these are much faster to create a hotspot on the top of your head. But then there are the earpads on these headphones. The earpads on the Hesh ANC are a little small, so if you have very large ears or ears that stick out a lot, these might not work for you. Whereas with the earpads on the Crusher EVO, these are a little more spacious, but again, if you have large ears or ears that stick out a lot, these might not be for you. And then there are the Crusher ANC 2s, which have the most spacious ear cups here, so they'll be able to accommodate most people. But finally, there's their weight. Now the Hesh ANC weigh in at 228 grams, so weight isn't an issue for these headphones, because this is what they're supposed to weigh. But the Crusher ANC 2 weigh in at 332 grams, and the Crusher EVO weigh in at 312 grams, and both of these Crushers are a little heavier than your other headphones, like let's say the Sennheiser Momentum 4s, because these weigh in at 295 grams, the Beats Studio Pros weigh in at 260 grams, the Bose QC Ultra and Sony 1000XM4s weigh in at 255 grams, the Sony XB910Ns weigh in at 252 grams, the Sony 1000XM5s weigh in at 250 grams, and then there are the Bose QCs, which weigh in at 235 grams. So with both of these Crusher headphones, they're a lot more noticeable when they're on your head, whether you're sitting still or especially when you're walking around with them on. So overall, Skullcandy's headphones aren't for everyone. The Hesh ANC are just a little small in general, they're better for smaller heads, children, or women, and the Crushers are noticeably heavy. But with fit out of the way, let's talk about tech specs. Now when it comes to battery life, the Hesh ANC have an advertised battery life of 22 hours with the active noise cancellation turned on, which is decent. Then there are the Crusher EVOs, which have an advertised battery life of 40 hours, which is okay. And then there are the Crusher ANC 2s, and these have an advertised battery life of 50 hours with the active noise cancellation turned on, and with the active noise cancellation turned off, they can go for as long as 60 hours, which is both very above average and it's very impressive. And when it comes to charging these headphones, they all charge via a USB-C port, as they should. But these USB-C ports are strictly used for charging. You can't use any of these USB-C ports as a wired connection. However, all of these headphones still do have an audio jack, and they all come included with an audio cable, so you can always still use them with a wired connection out of the box. And I know this sounds very basic, but I do have to point this out because some headphones are starting to come out without an audio jack, and they also don't come included with an audio cable, especially your entry-level ANC headphones like your Skullcandy Hesh ANC. But when it comes to wireless connectivity, both the Hesh ANC and Crusher EVOs can only be connected to one device at a time, whereas the Crusher ANC 2s, these can be connected to any two Bluetooth devices at the same time regardless of the ecosystem, which is good if you're a power user because you can easily hot swap from one device to another. But when it comes to overall performance, all of these headphones have zero latency across the board when watching movies or videos on your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device. And when it comes to audio codecs, all of these headphones have support for SBC and AAC. But now let's talk about actually listening to music with these headphones. Now, as with any other pair of Skullcandy headphones, the Hesh ANC have a bass-heavy sound signature, which is a lot of fun to listen to. However, these headphones sound very different when they have their active noise cancellation turned on versus when they have their active noise cancellation turned off. Now, if you want to get the best sound quality out of these headphones, you gotta use them with their ANC turned off. With their ANC turned off, they're going to sound way more open, and their bass is also going to hit a lot harder and physically rattle your head. Now, overall, with the ANC turned off, these headphones sound good. They have strong mids with hard-hitting bass that doesn't bottom out. My only critique about the sound signature of these headphones is that their highs are a little too pronounced, so they can get a little ear-piercing in certain situations. And unfortunately, the Hesh ANC don't connect to Skullcandy's app, so you can't directly adjust their EQ. And I really do think that's a shame because I really want to lower the mids a little bit on these headphones. But overall, the Hesh ANC are a pair of very fun bass-heavy headphones to listen to, which do rattle your head a fair amount. But then there are these two Crushers. Now, both of these two headphones have a ridiculous amount of bass to them. They're both going to make your teeth chatter. However, the Crusher ANC 2s do have more bass than the Crusher EVOs. With the Crusher EVOs maxed out, it's like 50% bass on the Crusher ANC 2. Now, just so that we're clear, the Crusher EVOs already have way more than enough bass. But if you're really obnoxious about your bass, then you can go with the Crusher ANC 2s because they just have more bass. Now, all of this bass is a lot of fun, and it adds an extra level of immersiveness when watching movies with these headphones, but it can get old after a while. Now, you can still use these headphones with their bass features turned off, but with their bass features turned off, they sound narrow because they don't have the best instrument separation, and they put an emphasis on the mids so that you can actually hear the vocals when you have the bass turned on these headphones. But sound quality wise, I don't think these Crushers are worth using without their bass turned on. And like I said earlier, the Crusher EVOs already have a lot of bass, but the Crusher ANC 2s do have more bass than the EVOs. Now, when it comes to the media controls on these headphones, they all have your same 3-button layout, and all of these buttons are easy to find and they're easy enough to tell apart. But the Crusher ANC 2s also have their own dedicated voice assistant, Skull IQ. And with Skull IQ, you can control your bass, active noise cancellation, and ambient mode settings alongside your media playback with just your voice. The only thing with Skull IQ, you do have to have the Skull IQ app running in the background of your phone, and personally, I don't think that many people are going to use Skull IQ because I feel that saying, "Hey Skullcandy," does feel a little awkward. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones. Now, the Crusher EVOs don't have active noise cancellation, whereas these other two do. But most surprisingly, the Hesh ANC block out more noise than the Crusher ANC 2. But so they can see for yourself, we're going to jump into an ANC test.
ANC on.
Now, the Hesh ANCs don't block out all that much more noise than the Crusher ANC 2s, but I did expect more from the Crusher ANC 2s, just given their price and also since these are 2 years newer than the Hesh ANC. Overall, I wouldn't recommend these headphones for flying, but their ANC will help you in your bus ride commute or if you're in a slightly chatty office. But then there's the ambient mode on these headphones. Now again, the Crusher EVOs don't have an ambient mode, whereas the Hesh ANC and Crusher ANC 2 do. Now both of these ambient modes get the job done, but with the Crusher ANC 2s, you can adjust their ambient mode to your liking, whereas with the Hesh ANC, you can't. But finally, here's the microphone test, and I feel that all of these headphones have a decent enough sounding microphone on them to take phone calls with while in a quiet room. But the microphone on the Skullcandy Crusher EVOs do sound a little better. And the microphone on the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2s sound a little better as well. But when it comes to blocking out noise pollution, all of these headphones do struggle quite a bit. All of these headphones are letting in a decent amount of road noise, and there is some interference going on with my voice. And it's the same thing when it comes to the Skullcandy Hesh ANC. And it's the same thing when it comes to blocking out chatter. The Hesh ANCs are letting in a decent amount of noise pollution, and there is some interference going on with my voice. And it's the same thing as well with the Skullcandy Crusher EVOs. And it's the same thing when it comes to the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2s. So overall, all of these headphones have a decent enough sounding microphones on them to take phone calls with while in a quiet room. But all of these microphones do struggle when it comes to blocking out noise pollution. But with all that being said, the Skullcandy Hesh ANC are a decent pair of entry-level ANC headphones which surprisingly block out a little more noise than the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2. The main thing to look out with the Hesh ANC is that they are a little small, so these are better suited for women, children, or just smaller guys. But if you're trying to choose between the Crusher EVO and the Crusher ANC 2, with the Crusher ANC 2 you're going to get a lot more bass, but the EVOs already have a lot of bass to begin with. You're going to get a longer lasting battery life, and you're going to get that hard shell case, which is good for traveling. Now the Crusher ANC 2s also have active noise cancellation and an ambient mode, but these shouldn't be the main reasons why you're getting these headphones. And with both the Crusher EVOs and Crusher ANC 2s, these are better suited as a pair of secondary headphones. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.